Survivor's ready.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
The queen stays queen.
You said rustle feathers.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to calamity. We have ripe bananas all the time.
Dude, my prize isn't even $1 million. My prize was that I fell in love in this game. Love at first sight. Her name is Candace.
You officially go down as the dumbest survivor ever.
Welcome to Not Game, All Personal. Hey, we are a Survivor podcast here to talk about all things Survivor, more specifically the events of this past week. I'm Nathan. This is Tony. And Tony, I'm starting to think that we would do horrible on Survivor because they're just getting all the podcasters out as soon as they can.
I mean, they wouldn't know I had a podcast. I'd be like, yeah, I just do data analysis. That's all. I've never podcasted in my life.
That would not be your intro. That's just
No.
like... Even on
They'd
the
make it my intro, probably. They'd be like, Tony, tell us about the podcast you host. They're like, yeah, so I analyze data from pharmaceutical claims, and I just like go into that.
even on like the list of like side projects and hobbies you have, this is still like ranked, you know, 5th, 6th of the
It's pretty
priorities
low.
in your life.
Consistently in my life, people that I'm close to, I mention like, oh yeah, I got a podcast tonight. They're like, you have a podcast? It's like, man, we've been friends for years, and you just didn't know because I don't talk about it.
Don't worry, listeners. We take this very seriously. It's
We
just
do.
not important to us. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, new episode of Survivor. We'll talk all about it. But yes, the podcaster's out. The Survivor podcaster, I should say. The first one was a political podcaster, so maybe that was different. I don't know, but. Yeah, I don't know. Bummer for all of us that hope to get on the show, I guess, to think that like maybe we just don't have the reads like we thought we did.
Yeah, and I've kind of learned that just by playing with my pals, honestly.
That's true.
Or,
You
like,
have played Survivor multiple times now.
And I'm not great. Like it's not something where you like know it, so
Yeah.
you're suddenly really, really good at it. It's just like it's one of those things that, yeah, I know more, and that it genuinely makes you more of a threat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot to talk about with this tribe, which maybe we should just get into it. Let's just get into it with the Red Tribe.
Let's get
right?
into it.
I think that's where the
I will
action's going
say,
to be. Yeah, no,
Before we
say it.
get into it, this is the week I'm all in now. Like, I feel like I know everybody. I know
Ooh.
who likes who. And I think it's partially because in 3 weeks in, we've seen every single tribe go to tribal. And so I like fully understand the dynamics within the tribes. And yeah, I'm in. I'm excited.
I think I'm about there. I think my reservation is I think there's more people I dislike on this season than there have been on previous seasons,
Oh.
which doesn't necessarily make it a bad season. And I'm willing to, give them time. And like we just got done talking about Big Brother and, what's the difference between hating someone or loving to hate them or, whatever it is. So like, we'll see. But I think that's my only reservation is that like, I'm not really a fan of a lot of these people, but I do feel like I have a good understanding of all the tribe dynamics, and it definitely helps that this is the first time in the new era where the first 3 tribal councils have been all 3 different tribes. Did you know that?
Not surprising because it feels like every single time it's always been the same tribe every time.
Yeah. Either that or there's one tribe that essentially makes it to the merge without being touched. That has also happened multiple times in the new era. So I think
And that still could mostly happen. But so far,
could.
at least one person's gone from each.
Right, but I think this opens up a lot of potential where every single person in the game has been to tribal council, and in some seasons that takes a couple weeks to get going, so we have no idea where people stand. We could be on episode 5 and 6 and we're still like, we don't know where their head is at because they haven't shown us. We have now seen every single player vote, so we at least have that to go off of, which I think is far more exciting than previous seasons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, you just get to know people, and so you're more invested in them early on. It's not episode 6 and I'm finally like, oh, so Genevieve is a person. I didn't realize that. Like, you get a little bit more of them.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit. Something I learned this episode, Tony. Apparently, Rome and Genevieve are like very tight. Like, just this unbreakable duo that I mean, like, I knew there was like this 4-person alliance. Like, I saw those relationships build, but that definitely wasn't like where I thought the core was.
Yeah,
um, Especially because Genevieve had like no airtime at all when it came
that's
to like.
exactly what I was gonna say. And she didn't say a word about it, but apparently that's what everybody sees.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would have liked to get a little something from her, just to like, just to like, I don't know, like, oh yeah, Rome's my number one. I can't lose him. I got to keep him. Okay, so we got to stick. There was none of that. There was just this major assumption. It's like, well, we obviously we can't break up Rome and Genevieve. That's not an option.
I bet she's gonna quit. That's the only explanation.
That's always your explanation. I did find it very funny how she was looking for an advantage at the sit-out bench. Good move. I like that.
Oh, you gotta. And at that point, you might as well just crawl under the bench.
I guess so.
Like, why not?
All right. Well, getting into these tribe dynamics, let me start by asking this: do you think, specifically, I think with Teeny and Keyshawn, since they seem to be the deciding vote in a tribe that was like 3 different pairs,
Mm-hmm.
do you think they made the right decision getting out Asia?
No.
No. Okay.
I
Wrong
think
move.
I think Teeny specifically was like, Rome has all of these things that, like, we can't take him out. Like, he's got too much power that we can't touch him right now. And so what she does is just goes with him and makes him feel confident and just kind of goes with Asia. At that point, you make him feel confident and you try to take a shot at him while you can. And did he end up playing his idol? I can't. He did play his idol.
He did play his idol, yes.
He did play his idol. So it would have backfired, but so I guess when you look at it, I forgot about the idol play, but because it didn't matter at all. But you don't want to just let somebody run, like, tell you what to do like that. And I don't know. He was painted in a poor light, I feel like. Like, he just seems so cocky. But they seem to like him enough, so maybe that's just how it's being edited. But I guess I don't know for sure.
It's almost to the point where I am forced to believe it's the edit, because I don't think my brain can comprehend how someone could be this repulsive.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel.
And then even just like the preview of next week and him, like, he's like like Soul's just like, can I have like a minute to myself? And he's like, no, you don't get a minute to, like, just getting all up in his face. Like, dude, take it easy. What did Soul do? I like Soul. I was actually really sad because I thought Soul was gonna go, and I was like, I like him.
I thought for sure Soul was gonna go, because that's another person where it's like, I don't know what he's doing right now on this game.
If he gets voted out, I'm gonna start a campaign, Justice for Soul.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Especially when Rome was crying like a baby, pouting like a child in the challenge, saying, "I want to do it." He was literally jumping up and down, saying, "If I don't do this, I'm gonna be really upset." And it's like,
If you do this and you screw up at all, I'm gonna be so mad. It's like, dude, like, he just doesn't know how to work on a team. It seems like.
no, and it is. I don't know if I'm fully decided if voting Asia out was a good or bad move. I think it's a bad move, but I think I am blinded by just being frustrated that Rome got his way. Because when you see a player like him, you want nothing more than to see like justice and to see him get blindsided. Similar to like TK last week.
Yeah.
But TK was nowhere near as arrogant or obnoxious or just appalling as Rome is. So I
he
think
was just
that's
a dude that played a lot of sports and had like firm sports like thoughts on losing, and he just shared them. Rome is just everything. It was like the one thing for TK, and now just Rome is everything.
Yeah, no, Rome is actually the worst, which it was very funny when Rome commented on TK being arrogant, and he's like, yes, that guy's gone, the guy I don't know anything about. Oh, I'm so glad you voted him out. It's like, what?
And then the way Rome is like lounging out in the confessionals, it's like, dude, who are you? Like, you're so like way too comfortable, and I'm already over it.
I was shocked when because I wanted to see. I was like, how old is this guy? I was shocked to learn he's 30. I would have.
He feels like a 21-year-old.
Yes, that he is the youngest person on this cast. Like, how on
Teeny
earth?
Is wildly enough, Teeny's the youngest one on this tribe.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And yet she seems like to be the core and the person that
Mm-hmm.
everyone's coming to as far as like, hey, can we tell you secrets? And um yeah, so I don't know. I think like I'm blinded by the fact that I want Rome out so bad. I think that is making me believe that they made the wrong decision. But I think I also think that despite that. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I'm completely unbiased in it.
If you're worried about Rome being an issue, Asia is the biggest threat to Rome, I think. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you want to hedge your bets and vote with him this time because he has all of this stuff in his arsenal, you go for Seoul, I think.
I see. Here's the thing. I don't know why they didn't actually just commit to Genevieve. I think that's where I
Yeah.
was a little confused because if we are viewing this as a 2-2-2, which is what we're
Mm-hmm.
being told, Roman Genevieve tight, Teeny and Keyshawn, we see that. Asia and Seoul, I don't know, but it just feels like they're at the bottom. So like they, you know what I mean. And Asia's going for to bat for him. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, it was really Teeny and Keyshawn picking which duo do we want to move forward with.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't get out Rome knowing he's playing his idol, then go for his ally who you know is unprotected. Because I think they're underestimating the fact that he has a steal a vote, meaning that like he can be in the majority whenever he wants. The only way he isn't in the majority is if you get him in the minority on a 5-person tribe, him being the 1 versus 4. And
Yeah.
I think they lost their chance. So now he's pretty much untouchable until the merge and there's more
Mm-hmm.
votes at play.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to like maybe they just want to fall in line and try to coast to the merge, but that yeah, you got to kind of deal with it at this point. If that tribe gets picked off or starts losing challenges and they have to pick you people off one on one at a time, they're gonna regret it for sure. It's just how it goes. You go with what you think is probably the easiest path forwards at that point because you know Rome's going to be a massive threat if when you make it to the merge. Like
True.
you're not that big of a loudmouth, and you're like not a target at all. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's the long game that they're trying to play. They're not trying to get Rome out now. They're trying to have him as a shield once they reach the merge.
Yeah, which I think is a strategy that we've seen play out, especially in the new era, where it's less about
Mm-hmm.
like getting your allies to the merge. It's more so like who are the people that I can like keep an eye on and like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So we'll see. You know, obviously it's early on, so we'll see how this season plays out. But I don't know. Like in the short sight, like this feels like a decision that, at least from what I've seen on the internet, like people are like universally think was the wrong move.
That's very funny. Boo! Just give him a hearty boo.
Yeah, I don't know. I was rooting for Teeny too. Teeny, I feel like has potential.
Mm-hmm.
She still
She's
does,
getting
but
an edit that she for sure is going to be something.
for
Not
something,
that the edit says anything. Jeff says
no,
there's no winners edit, and we've
we
never
don't pay
talked about
attention
edit.
to it.
So
We've definitely
no,
never called the winner from early on.
no, never. Couldn't be us.
What else from Red Tribe do we need
I
to
like
talk about?
Keyshawn. I like Soul. Rome is
Yeah,
in that
Rome.
category where he's really annoying, but I just love to hate him. Like he's gonna make me mad, and I'm gonna get upset with things that he says. But boy, is it more entertaining that I get to root for him to lose.
Yes, I think it's just terrifying because in the back of my mind, having him in the game means that there is a sliver of hope that, or a chance that he could win,
Oh
which would be worst case scenario.
nope, he does. He can't win. It's against the rules.
Okay, as long as you're telling me that, then yeah, let's keep him into the final 3 and then have him lose there, right?
Yeah, I ain't scared.
All right, cool.
Final four. Who lose at fire?
Bring it on.
Even though he was
Rome.
the one that started the fire in the episode.
Well, yeah, and he also, caught the fish and cooked the fish and got the pot of water, but that's just how his
Mm-hmm.
mindset. He has a different mindset than everyone else. He likes to help out,
Yeah.
contribute. Not like everyone else that just sits around. And so he deserves to eat all the fish in front of you and spit on your back. And
Golly, that was awful. I want to say how ironic it is that the three people who are upsetting their tribe the most are the ones that get to go on the journey. It definitely wasn't editing. Those are definitely the people that people are most upset with.
Yeah, I had the same thought. I was
They
like,
always like
what are the
do the
odds?
segment where they're like, "Man, Kyle's definitely on the outs," and then, "Man, Rome is just making everybody mad and eating all the fish," and then, "Man, Annika's just making Sam so upset and just really bossy with him."
Yeah, and
None
then
of that, like, that's
of
probably happening,
course,
but how much of that do you think is actually true? That the things that those things that they were doing was received like that.
yeah. No, it was definitely them. Well, it was because like once the journey, the summit, whatever it's called now, like started, like once it was coming up, I literally said out loud, these are the three people. Like it
Yeah.
was just so obvious at that point. And then also, I mean, I'm at the point where it's like I can even almost predict who's gonna win what, because it's like
Yeah.
once we saw that Kyle lost, and then once it went to Annika, I was like, okay, well she's gonna lose, and then Ron's gonna get it. Like there's no way they
Mhm.
would show this any other way. And
Yep.
I don't know. It's like can we can we mix it up, please? Like you have a potentially good season. I don't need to be like predicting the edit on this
Mhm.
extended episode here. That's just not fun.
It is kind of fun when you're around people who haven't watched it enough. So you like say like, "Oh, this is gonna happen." They're like, "How'd you know that?" And it's like it telegraphs it a lot. And to be fair, because there's more time, the hour and a half episode, it shows each tribe. So yes, I probably could have guessed that it was gonna be Red Tribe that was gonna lose, but I wasn't sure which one was gonna lose because each one showed like a fracture in that tribe and somebody who might be a target.
Yes, I think once Rome won the the thing, the steal a vote, I think that's where I knew Red Tribe was going. Which isn't even on the edit because that's also just
No.
like if we do believe it's a chance. But it was like the way that it happened. I was like, okay, so this is what's gonna save him tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, which isn't always the case, but
And he just lied to everybody and said that he lost his vote when he didn't, right?
yes. But then didn't he tell the rest of them something else? I think he said that to everyone, but then the core four is what they're calling it. Is that what they're calling it?
I remember seeing Annika pull like the girls aside and tell them like I just lied about this. I don't remember seeing Rome do that.
I could be wrong. You might be right. Because
And Kyle just told the truth, I think.
he definitely played it off and was trying to play it off. Where Soul even
Mm-hmm.
called him out. Soul's like, I think you're lying to me. And Rum's like, why would I do that? And then he like perfectly laid it out. He's like, well, it actually makes sense for you to lie because you want me to. And Rum's like, what? He's
I
like,
like Soul a lot.
you could think that Soul just like I think he makes too much sense for this game. I think that's the thing. Like he's just too like he's too just even keeled. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll do this. Okay, we'll win this. Okay, blah blah blah. And Rome just doesn't calculate someone that is just makes I don't know if that he
No,
just
that's a
makes
real thing for
sense.
sure.
Like he makes
Yeah.
sense. Like he does the things he's supposed to do. He
Mm-hmm.
responds the way he's supposed to respond. He like and Rome just doesn't like that about him.
Hey, I don't like it about it. No, I love it. I think that's great. I love when there's a person who's just like, the common sense is really easy here, guys. You're all morons. Like that's just a fun character type.
Yeah. No, it's very fun. And I worry for him now because he seems like he will be the next to go, probably.
Mm-hmm. And then it's Asia, is how you say her name.
I believe so, yeah.
It's always a bummer seeing a player like that go early because you kind of want them to have a chance to like really live out a survivor experience after they've like because she's been on like podcasts about it and stuff and like talks about it a lot. Like if you or I went on Survivor, I'd be very sad if we like went out right away because it's like you want to experience getting to at least the merge and getting to experience the game. And now Rob is probably just like, haha, you got out third. I got
mean,
third place.
it is funny because most of the people that do podcasts with him are like none of them have won. Like it's him, Stephen Fishback, it's like all those
Mhm.
people. So maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
Maybe. That's what it takes. I'll play and not win if it means I get to be a part of that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, do you think like it felt like in the edit what they wanted to show her biggest failure was her defending Soul too much when Teeny and Keyshawn came to her, because they came to her and were like, hey, it might have to be Soul, because of this idol, blah, blah, blah. Like, they definitely lied because they knew Rome was going to play it for himself, but they lied to her and made her believe that he might play it for him or Genevieve, as if like, okay, so we might have to vote for Soul. And she didn't want to do that. I mean, do you think that was a mistake on her end? Because I think that's what the show wanted us to think, whereas like, okay, because she pushed too hard, now they're going to put it on her.
I can see it from both ways. Like, it definitely could work out where she could have taken out Soul and then they just kind of coast to the merge and then she does well from there, or she finds a foothold somewhere else. But the way that it was looking, it was kind of, she was like a power player versus Rome as a power player. I think they were like the two that were trying to win over, and that's not saying the rest aren't, but they were like the two sides that were going to battle. And you kind of want to win that first battle. You kind of want to be able to say like, no, I planned at getting this person out and I was able to take them out. And just like immediately being like, yep, whatever you say, I'll follow. That's not, I feel like in somebody who knows Survivor, it's not in their mind. Like, they want to manipulate the game and make big moves. So I think that's where it came from. You asked whether it was a bad move. I don't know. Depends how you want to play the game. I mean, the result was obviously poor, but it just as easily could have worked and been great for her. So you never really know.
Yeah. Yeah, because it felt like with Rome, they were more pleased that he was like willing to, I don't know, compromise, where he wanted Soul out and then switch it over and switch back. And it's like, for her, she just didn't want to budge. And I don't know. Like, I don't blame her, because like, if Soul's your strongest ally, you should want to keep him in, I also want to note, this is the first episode where they mentioned Shot in the Dark. I think there was people were speculating like if that's a thing, just because no one's talked about it, which is kind of funny. Like, this is the first time where people are actually considering like, hey, Shot in the Dark is an option. It was like, oh, that's right, that thing.
And apparently it's transferable. You can just give it to someone.
I think my understanding, because I did catch that as well, but I don't think that person can use it. But that means if you give up your Shot in the Dark, you can't use it. So it's more of a, hey, this is assuring you that I won't use mine because I can't. So it's not like the person you give it to has an extra one. It just means you can't use yours, because apparently it's something like they physically have and take with them to tribal.
They have a die that they're given,
which is interesting. I don't know.
Well, they put that in, and then that's what lets them take a scroll.
Right, but it's, I guess that is the reason for that mechanic, because it's like, it's not like Survivor needs them to have a physical device to like use it, but I think by doing that, it allows them to let people have it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they can.
You can give it away. I think you still can give it away and it be used. That was the implication that I received, at least from that conversation.
So you think that she could have had 2 Shot in the Darks?
He said something that made me think that that's how it works.
Because I remember this happening on another season as well. I can't remember which one. Because we definitely talked about this. I don't know. We'll look into the rules.
You can it's you can definitely give it to somebody just so they can't use it in that tribal, and then give it back maybe. But are you saying that once you give it up, you can never use it, or if they give it back to you, can you use it later on?
I'm saying, like, if you don't have it with you, you can't use it. So it's like,
that makes sense.
Kind of like an idol. So it's like, if I were to give you an idol, it's like, hey, I'm not going to use this. I'll even give it to you to prove that I won't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
the way you said it made it sound like it would just never be able to be used, but that makes more sense. Yeah, just give it up to be like, I promise I'm not planning on using this.
I'm trying to see if I'm looking real quick to see what season I'm thinking about.
Who did he offer to give it to? Was it Annika?
No, it was Sierra. So let's just talk about Yellow Tribe since we're here. Yeah.
Okay.
we didn't say names yet. Andy
Andy
offered to give his Shot in the Dark to Sierra. Essentially because he wants to get in with Sierra and Sam against Annika and Rachel. Andy, I mean, he's making a comeback.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a strategist, don't you
It
know?
took him 2 dives to get that buoy though, so I don't know if I believe in him.
Hey, they won. They
They
won.
did win. They did win. It's fair.
Yeah, I mean he's doing the right things. Like I feel like he has
Mm-hmm.
the correct reads on like, which I again, he's someone that like I don't want to see him have a downfall, but I don't love that he is saying correct things in his confessionals when he's pointing out
Mm-hmm.
like, there's levels to like, what do you say, communication or like so it's like someone says something, that's one thing, but it's like how they act is another. And I'm like, duh. But then he actually uses it in a smart way. I'm like, okay, he knows what he's talking about or knows what he's doing, which is like annoying for me, but it's fine. I'll get over him.
And it, like, to be fair, that moment that he like kind of just went off, he had just been like super overheated and like was probably somewhat delirious at that point. It's like definitely wasn't in like the most stable mind, like state of mind. So maybe he'll come back and just be like a super level-headed player, and we'll all be stunned. That's definitely on the table.
Yeah, and I think he's getting a good arc right now and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. Because, like, the thing is, from what we've seen for the past 2 weeks now, it doesn't appear like he would be the next target.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has people that are wanting to protect him. So, assuming he at least has one more tribal where that happens, we're not as far from the merge as we might think now that we've had 3 episodes already. So, it's like he could make a decent run and have a comeback here.
Oh, I could definitely see it. If he gets to the merge, I feel like he'll be able to coast for a little bit and be all right.
It,
But
it
then the merge, there's like the mergatory, like it gets funky in there where like he could just be an easy option, so they get him out. So that's definitely on the table too, because it's always weird once we reach that point.
Yeah, that part's always fascinating. Especially, it will be especially fascinating if there isn't a clear tribe that has the majority. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like someone has to, but since we're 3 episodes in and the tribes are even, I don't know. Like
Mm-hmm.
this could be a unique season where it's not just like let's gang up on this tribe.
Yeah, which I'm all for. That makes it more interesting for sure.
I would love to mix up the fake merge and the,
Formula.
my goodness, and then the merge, but we're in 2 tribes.
I forgot to prep a bunch of players for you. I apologize. I just remembered.
For our trivia.
That was my one assignment.
Hey, we've already acknowledged how seriously we take this podcast, so
So seriously.
it's fine.
Um,
I think the
I was
other, go ahead.
I think I was a little frustrated with how it was edited. Like, because it was definitely edited that Annika was just telling everybody what to do and telling Sam what to do and where to go and what to like lift and dig, and like that's just how how it was shot, how it was all put together. That can't have been how it was. Like they were definitely all working. There's a point where he gets mad and starts trying to like break the string with the machete. She's like, "Oh, we've been sawing it. That works a little bit better," which implies that they've been doing work too, and it's not just him doing stuff. But that's, I don't know. It felt like there's no way that's just the only like beef happening there. They were just setting up for the journey, and that annoyed me a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see. I feel like the core.
There's definitely beef there. There's definitely beef between Sam and Annika, but pretending that that's the
Yeah.
only thing that's happening, I think, was a bit extreme.
Well, I think part of it is too is just trying to find that person who you want to target next, right? Which I think is what
Yeah,
Sam's
true.
probably doing subconsciously, because like his confessionals definitely, it felt one-sided in my opinion, where it was
Mhm.
like he is very
Oh, yeah.
annoyed that like this girl is telling him how to do things, even though like she's proven right. And I mean, like you could see how frustrated he is when he does like saw it and it works. And
Mhm.
he's just like,
Immediately.
it's like, oh, come on, like, like he didn't want that to work, you know. So I do think like
Nope.
there is something there. It's probably one-sided, but I think it's also probably subconscious trying to find like, okay, so if I am gonna protect Andy, the obvious target, who's it gonna be? So
Mhm.
probably just to villainize someone to justify wanting to target them, early on, which is obviously the case. And I think like for Annika, she doesn't feel like she needs to do that because she feels like there already is an obvious target in Andy. So it's like I don't need to make enemies because I know who my target is, where Sam's like I need to make an enemy so I can vote someone out.
Mhm. Yeah, that seems super fair. Because yeah, you always are like subconsciously like, all right, if we go, what's the plan? What are we gonna try to do here?
Mm-hmm.
And whether it works or not, you never really know. But yeah, it just felt so like they felt like he was very angry with her and felt like it was set up to make it look like she was this huge bad guy, which I don't think is necessarily true. Because it was
No, and
only his confessionals that were like she's being ridiculous. Everybody else seemed to be like on board.
yeah, and I'd be curious to see how other people took that too, because I took it the same way I think you did, where he was saying it, but I wasn't buying it. So I think I walked away more of like he thinks that she is the villain so much that he is now becoming the villain. Like he is now the
Mm-hmm.
person on the tribe that I'm like, okay, you're a little full of yourself. Like I'm rooting for her now if it has to be one of you
Yeah,
two. And
I
so
think
eh,
I think potentially the more and this is moving away from that a little bit, so stop me if you have more to say about that.
yeah,
I
go
think
for
the
it.
more like interesting thing going forward is will Sam and Sierra try to take a shot at each other because now they're seen as this they found out that they're seen as this like tight duo. Everybody thinks they're like a showman's kind of thing. Both definitely not. Both like he's engaged. She said she should be engaged by the time she gets back or something. Funny joke. Love it. Love engaged jokes. Um I don't know what that was. But like I wonder cuz like
How
if
many
that
engaged jokes can you name? Give me
at
examples of
least
other
12.
ones you love.
Oh, I'll bring a list for next week.
Sure.
Um But yeah, I think it'd be very interesting if they like try to turn on each other and take a shot at each other just to because regardless of whether or not they are tight and they are a strong duo, they're not dating or it's not a relationship or anything. That's fine. They're a threat across tribes now because of that, and so
Hmm.
trying to split that up as soon as possible might be a move.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if that's gonna happen before the merge. I mean, the way I see it, I think Andy does latch onto them because that's his only option, and then because of that, they at least make it to the merge. But then I think once they get to the merge, I think then they probably will be the targets. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I the way that I kind of see it, I really view Andy almost like an Emily type character, where rough first showing in front of everyone,
Ooh.
survives the first vote. But then once you get to the merge, her tribe's almost gone. So now she's just this free agent that kind of goes here and there. That's how I kind of see it playing out. Because
I think there's
if
potential for that. Yeah.
if I had to take a guess, I do think either Rachel or Annika would go next if Yellow were to go tribal.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Sam, Sierra, and Andy do work together up until the merge, but I think Sam and Sierra could be seen as big threats early on. So
Mm-hmm.
it would not shock me at all if Andy is the sole survivor from the yellow tribe that makes it the farthest.
I could see that because he's the weakest link. No, I'm just kidding. Not necessarily that. But yeah, I feel like that happens a lot where because you're him having that outburst immediately paints or almost removes the target in an individual game sense from him because they're like, oh, he can't handle it, so we don't have to worry about him. Whether or not that's true, he might prove to us that that's not true. So later on in the game, he'll last longer because people view him as lesser threat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. Who else on yellow do we talk about? Is there anything else exciting that
I think
happened?
that's all I got on yellow.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. A lot of Sam airtime, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
just carrying the screen presence.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Blue. We could talk to Blue too if you want.
I like Kyle.
Good guy.
Kyle seems like a nice guy. Seems like he knows what he's doing a little bit. Sue's a bit much, but I like Kyle, and I feel like
I
we didn't know who he
knew
was
you were
going into
gonna
this
say that about
episode.
Sue. I
Sue's a bit
knew it. I
much.
called it. Something about the
Um,
older women. You just not a
I
fan.
hate older women. That's just me. You know me. Um, there's something about the like, oh, all the men in the flight industry didn't think I could do it. Now he's one of those men, and I'm going to show him I can do it. It's like take it. He voted with you because TK wanted to more than anything else. I think. I don't think it's anything against you, but it's taking it. Yeah, whatever. I like Kyle. That's the moral of my opening statement for the Blue Tribe.
I think he's fine. I don't know. He's kind of a nothing.
I don't
to
know
me.
that he's like
no
an
offense,
entertaining player.
yeah,
He
I got
seems
no
like
opinion.
a nice dude, and I'm rooting for him because of that.
I don't care about nice dudes. I don't have time for nice dudes on Survivor. There's enough nice dudes in the world. That's my take. They don't need to take up space on Survivor. I wanna.
That's a heck of a take. All right.
I stand by that one.
Golly.
I don't know. I mean, I think he's screwed. Like, I just don't think there's
yeah.
any wiggling in. I mean, I think his closest ally is Tiana, and I just don't know enough about her. The only person this episode that had 0 confessionals. So
wasn't Gabe like, hey, let's try to get out Tiana? Like he was trying to pull Kyle in?
He was, but then Kyle.
And then Kyle went and told everybody, and Sue's like, that's not true. Even though it is. That makes me mad too, but that's just Survivor. Sometimes you don't believe people even though they're telling the truth.
Well, I mean, I thought the mistake there was Kyle just announcing to 3 other people about, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're trying to make a move on Gabe, you got to clean that up and at least do some one-on-one or feel it out before. Because the chances that, like, one of them go back to Gabe is very high. And so if anyone was looking on ammunition for Kyle, now they have it. So, like, any hope that he had was like, oh, maybe we can get Tiana out. I think he ruined because now that's going to get back to Gabe, and Gabe's not going to want to work with him anymore.
Oh, yeah. And the audacity to bring it up before a challenge. It just ruins the entire day, ruins the entire vibe. How is Sue ever supposed to perform in a challenge after he brought that up before a challenge?
You're just really not into Sue, are you?
I didn't think it was that bad, but now that I'm thinking about things that she said, that pissed me off. I was like, what, are you kidding me?
How dare she want to target the person that voted her to leave the game?
She can target him. That's fine. Whatever. It's not the end of the world.
Don't talk about it.
No,
don't.
Just everything. Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm mad about that. Whatever. I'm not even gonna try to explain it. You don't care. You're just gonna laugh at me.
No, I do care. I think I understand it more than you do. That's my take. I
just dislike old women. Is that what you understand?
I literally watching this episode and hearing her talk, I was like, Tony's not gonna like her. He's just. I'll leave it at that.
We should play that game soon, where it's a new season and you just go through whether I like or dislike people.
I'm gonna write down if they're a nice guy, Tony likes them. If they're an old lady, he doesn't.
That's the criteria.
Something about that middle-aged white woman, he just doesn't have it in him.
No, I was gonna say something mean. She doesn't deserve that. I'm sure she's lovely.
Hey, for what it's worth, I'm excited. For all the archetypes we've had of women her age in the past few seasons, she is by far the most aggressive. I think I think Julie eventually got there. I think by the end, Julie had that, where it's like, oh, she's not just someone that's going to the end. She's like actually game.
I like Julie.
Okay, but you also like D, so I think it was tied to that.
I've been watching Australian Survivor. I actually really enjoyed Sandra in the season that she's in.
Oh, wow. That's crazy because that's another older woman you don't like.
Yeah.
What is... One of these podcasts, we're going to get into why you hate women so much. I think that's what we need to really dissect.
People don't need to do that.
And
I don't hate women. I love women.
Prove it. Name 100 women right now.
I'm pretty good at that. Thank you very much.
Yeah? Can you beat my time? Because we've tried this and you can't. So
no, you did it like 16 times to get it down to 8 minutes.
That's how much I love. That's how much I love women. I memorize their names and I consistently write them down so I don't forget.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do how many women can you write down in an hour. It's not how quickly can you do a certain amount. It's how many can you do total. I'll destroy you.
My point is, I'm excited to see Sue. That's all. How about that?
Hey, me too. I love her so much. Such a nice lady. To be fair, last thing.
Yeah.
I think generally, I'm not a huge fan of the super vindictive players because I think in this kind of game, that can be a positive thing. But I think more often than not, you want to kind of let things go and go with the flow of the game. It's not a perfect rule because there's no perfect strategy for Survivor. But whenever somebody's super vindictive because somebody wrote down their name because they just wanted to be with the numbers, it's like, take it easy.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that lines up with your feelings on what was her name?
Oh, God, stop with my other feelings. We don't need this crap.
Who was going after Bruce? She came in third place. I don't even remember her name. You know what I'm talking
Tura?
about. Yeah, you hated her all season for that reason. So I'll give you that. But she's also a woman, so I think it proves both our points.
No! I hate men too.
What
That
are
really
what are
helped my
your
case, didn't it? I nailed that. That was a great defense. I hate men
what are
too.
your thoughts on Gabe? We didn't get as much this episode as previous episodes, but I still can't get a good read if he's playing a good game, if he is just the central figure because of the advantages he has or had, no longer.
It's interesting because I would almost put him, Rome, and Andy in similar categories in my head. And I don't know if it's
Yeah.
because they're playing so hard or what. And maybe Andy doesn't even deserve to be in it. Maybe it's more Gabe and Rome, but they're like going so hard right now and almost trying to do too much, it feels like. I don't know. Yeah, they like fit the same category for me. And I think people are
No,
fine
I
with it
agree.
because you just kind of need numbers at this point. There's so few. I think if it was eight or 9 or 10-person tribes, those guys would be early targets because you have numbers. But when you only have 5 people, one person can be super, super valuable. And so you have to deal with people who maybe are a little overly vindictive and rude and do stuff like that. Sorry, I was talking about Stu again. No, I'm just kidding. But you have to deal with people who maybe you're like, you need to take it easy a little bit, but for now, I need you. I need to rely on you.
No, I would put the three of them all in the same category because I do think Andy. I think his issue is that he tried to play too hard, right?
Mhm.
Like the fact that he's just thrown out his strategy in front of everyone when it's like, oh, we haven't even talked game yet. You know, the fact that he is trying to like game production by not picking up the beware advantage and then having that fail. You know what I mean? Like I think it's the same issues. I think.
Forgot you did that.
Yeah, no, I mean like he's
And then went bad for it. It was gone.
like he changed his mind. So I do think his issue is that he's doing too much. I think that's what I see in all three of them. I think the difference is with Andy, people see that, know that, and it's come full circle where they recognize you're doing too much, therefore you're on the bottom, so now we'll take you in. And with Rome, it's even a little similar because I think Andy is more self-aware than Rome, where Rome is doing way too much, but doesn't recognize that, while everyone else recognizes that, but yet still has the same outcome as Andy, where they're like, we'll bring him in. And Gabe, it's interesting because I don't think anyone on this tribe clocks that he's doing too much, except for Kyle.
Yep.
And
but they don't trust Kyle.
No. So
he
I think
wrote my name down. I'm done. I'm sorry. Now it's just a fun bit. I'm not even. I just think it's funny.
But I think that's the main difference between Gabe and the other two is like Gabe just hasn't been caught yet in gaming too much.
Well, they're kind of in the 3 separate stages of going a little bit too hard and gaming a little bit too much.
Yes. Where I think like to me, Andy's outcome is where you want to be at, where you game too hard. It failed, so you're at the bottom, but now you're climbing back up. Rome hasn't yet had that fall, and Gabe hasn't had even an ounce of potential for that fall. Even though I think it might happen.
Yeah, I think it's likely none of these 3 make it too far, but you never know.
Yeah, because I mean we're seeing a lot of them, so it's hard to tell. Because it's like, what are we supposed to take?
It's hard to tell if it's like a shooting star where it shines bright real quick and then that's all, or if it's going to be they're going to be the sun of the season.
We saw a lot of Banu last year, that's for sure.
We did see a lot of Banu.
A lot of Banu. Anything else on Blue Tribe? Any of these tribes?
I like Tiana.
Yeah. Again, she just didn't say anything yesterday at all. So.
No, she was huge in the T-Core episode though. So like her having like an episode off when she doesn't really do much is what it is.
Did you say T-Core?
No, I said Tiana. I'm pretty sure.
But you said the TK episode. But I think you said T-Core.
Oh, maybe I did there. I was like, no, I said Tiana for sure. What do you mean? I might have said T-Core.
You said in the T-Core episode, which is funny. Whatever.
Why is it funny?
Because T-Core's on the other show, not this show.
Oh, nice.
Get it?
I thought you were gonna say because I hate women or something.
You're just
Nathan, I need you to
at this
tell the
point.
listeners that I don't hate women. I just need that.
I don't have any definitive proof that Tony hates women. Does that help?
That makes me feel better.
Okay. It's all hearsay. You want to draft players for the season? It's time.
Gosh, how many are we doing, Nathan?
We did 5 last year.
We did
last
3 in
season.
the years before. I feel like let's split it and do 4.
Okay, I like that. I think that works. How do you want to decide who goes first? You got your thing?
Yep.
Should we do your thing?
Yep.
Tony's big
Lottery ball
ball.
machine.
How many numbers there are? 100?
100. Yep.
So we each get half?
Um.
How about I get odds, you get evens?
Okay. You sure you want odds and don't want evens? Why do you get to pick?
Because you're the one controlling it? I think I should get the
All
say.
right, that's fair. All right. You got odds, I got evens?
Yes, and okay, so before you do this, the person that picks second gets 2 back-to-back picks, correct? And then it goes every other? So, like, we only snake the first time? Is that true? Or is that incorrect?
We're doing 4. I feel like we should snake the whole time.
The whole time. Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. Spin. I got odds,
Should
you
I
got
mute
evens.
it while it spins, or is it just going to be really loud?
I don't think it'll pick up. Usually doesn't. Yeah, I can't hear a thing.
Okay, so it's just silent.
Yeah, you got a good condenser on that thing.
So just
Good,
know
good effects.
there's only one ball there.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not cheating.
Is that a single
I'm
digit?
picking up a separate ball.
26. So you go first.
26. No, I get to pick
Alright.
whether I go first. And I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. Oh, you dirty dog. My first pick. I don't know. if
You're
this is
writing
a
this
good
down,
pick.
right?
I'm writing this down. Don't worry.
We should put it in the chat and then pin it to the chat on Discord.
Okay, I'll do that. Or you do that. You type it up.
All right.
Cause I got a million things. Okay, my first
You
pick.
type in yours, I'll type in mine.
I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go with my gut. I might be falling for the edit. I'm gonna go with Teeny.
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 That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I feel like it's a safe pick. That's how I feel. Because as a reminder, we go for placement. So by the end of the season, whoever's list averages a higher placement wins. So I don't know. I'm just going for a safe pick. She feels like someone who's gonna be pretty relevant throughout the season.
Oh gosh.
So now you
So
got
I get 2 picks here.
2 picks.
This is I forget every year how challenging this is to just like pick names. So I could pick somebody and they're just gone next. And it wouldn't be surprising.
You were really bad last year. That's for sure.
Hey, take it easy. Take it easy.
Yeah, I think you had 3 weeks in a row where 3 of your people went. I think it was.
Heaney probably would have been my first pick, by the way.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm gonna go Sam.
Okay.
I could see him shine bright, and then fade quickly.
That's what you want in this draft.
No, but I could.
You were talking the con to your pick.
Can I take it back? No, I said it.
Sure.
I feel like that.
No.
I feel
Yeah.
it's
No.
official because I said it. I feel like it's official. I'm just gonna go for people who I think are gonna be gone. So Tiana.
Really? You're picking
Yep.
Tiana?
Yep.
Wow. I
You
don't
just
think I
wait.
would. I would have never picked that. This
There's
is
nobody
great.
that like want to keep from you though at this point.
This is fantastic. Okay, you ready for my back to back?
Yep.
You're not ready. I'm picking Andy.
You want to root for him?
I don't want to root for him, but I just know that this is gonna go bad for me. And then the next person
I just
That-
sneezed super loud, and I think my roommate's gonna be mad at me.
for
Sorry.
sneezing.
I sneezed really loud.
That's an abusive
He's-
relationship.
He's sleeping, man.
you sneezed. What do you want to do?
I sneezed really loud though.
I'm going on the anger Tony tour right now. I'm gonna pick Sue.
Yeah. All right. Fine. I didn't want to root for her anyways.
Sue's going far, man.
I want for my final two. Give me Keyshawn.
Okay. You're just picking the
Can
people.
I
you
tell
wanna
you who
root
I'm
for.
between?
I mean,
Without it
sure.
being official picks.
Yeah, that's fine.
Roman Annika.
Okay. Interesting. That's very
I'm gonna
interesting.
go Rome.
Rome. Okay. So I'm between two right now. And I think I'm going to go
Sierra
with
and,
my gut.
And
Sierra's one of them, but
Gabe.
it is. Those are the two. I think I'm going to go with Gabe. And I don't like this list, I'll be honest. My list
don't like
is
mine.
Teeny, Andy, Sue, and Gabe. You got Sam, Tiana, Keyshawn, and Rome. I mean, yeah, I think Sierra's the only other one I might have taken. Like,
Mhm.
we didn't even talk
Sierra's
about
the one that I
Caroline.
wish
I
I
don't know.
would have taken instead of Sam.
Okay, and leave Sam off the board.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would have picked Sam if he was
Can I
off the
swap him out
board.
now that you didn't take Sierra? Like it
I
didn't take
think-
away your opportunity to pick her. So it's like me just swapping out my.
Only
First pick.
if I can
You shouldn't.
swap.
It was my first pick. That's my fault.
I was gonna say
No, we're
only
not
if I
doing
can
that. We
swap my
picked who we
last
picked.
pick with Sam. Because if Sam was on the board during the final round, I would have taken him.
Nope. No.
Okay, stick with it.
It's insane
Own
for
it.
me to get to swap out my first pick when I had literally 13 players to pick from, 12 players to pick from. All
Yeah,
right.
you were so hot. You went from like on top of the mountain to downfall real fast with him. What just happened?
I was picking between those two at that moment, and I didn't want both of them. That's what it
Okay.
was. And so when I picked Sam, Sierra wasn't one that I would have picked.
So you
because I didn't
viewed
wanna have
them
both.
as a package, as like number one.
As like one of them I think is gonna be deep into
winner.
the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not looking for winners. I'm looking for people who are going to go out first because I'm bad at this, and so they'll probably last a while.
I don't know if we've ever picked a winner.
We had to have.
Not last year. Neither of us picked Kenzie. I know that. Who won the year before?
I probably picked D.
I don't know if you did. Let me look up.
I was on the
real
D
quick.
train pretty. Oh, didn't like that. I was rooting for D pretty early on.
Well, that's gonna make a good clip online.
Good thing we don't do clips.
We don't. I don't have time for that anymore. I tried like twice. It's like, my goodness. Okay. I'm trying to find our notes. We used to take notes. Okay. Google Docs. This is very annoying, isn't it?
I'm having fun.
I'm glad you're having fun. Alright, now it's just not here. Google Docs? Oh, here it is. Show notes. Woohoo.
Woo!
The year that D won, you had Drew, Kelly, and Emily.
Nah, it doesn't sound right.
I had Brando, Sabaya, and Katura. Who do you think won that one? And
Take notes,
then
Nathan.
those were the only 2 years we did it. And then
Those are the only
last
2
year,
years that we've marked it down. We've done it almost every year, I think.
oh, then I don't remember.
We'd have to go back and listen.
Yeah, who has time for that? All right. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Cool. All right. For more episodes, visit notgamewellpersonal.com. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere listen to podcasts, radio. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube at NGAPpod. That's at NGAPpod. I'm Nathan. This is Tony. We will see you next week.
14 seasons, 2 pals, 1 podcast.